Understanding. You cannot trust somebody you do not understand. You must understand somebody. If they do something I don't understand, how can I trust them? It's not clear to me. Why did you tell the renter, I'm gonna do this to their lease? You shouldn't be telling them till we do this. You see, I don't understand. So we try to clarify. Understanding. The elements of understanding are the following. The elements of understanding are the following. It's based on communication, reality, and affinity. These are the elements of understanding. Reality, another word for it, is agreement. Let me just say, if I say to you that it is hot today, and you respond, and Mark responds to me, yes, it is hot. Do we have agreement? Now, what happens when we have agreement? We tend to like each other. The definition of affinity here is tolerance of distance. When people have agreement, you see them holding hands, walking close, doing business, they sit close together. As soon as there is a break in affinity, they get upset, they want to walk away. They want to have a distance. You've seen that before? You go to somebody, say you're with your spouse, okay? Or with a friend, and they're buying a car. And you say something like, hey, they say, well, come, I want to buy an SUV. And you go over and you say, I don't think you should buy an SUV. I think you should buy just a regular car. Person gets upset and they walk away. Why do they walk away? You don't have agreement. You just broke affinity. You see what happens? Very important, very powerful. So communication is a sender and a receiver. You get attention, you have an intention to communicate, you send a message. It is received, understood, and acknowledged. What's missing in communication mostly around the world is the acknowledgement. That is so important because once you acknowledge, you just got the reality, got affinity. Give you an example. You're down in the basement. You're asking your spouse or friend upstairs in the house, hey, what time is it? And the spouse answers, it's 2 o'clock. And you're thinking, it's 2 o'clock? Do I have time to get changed, go to the store, come back? And the person up there, it's 2 o'clock. See, I wonder if, okay, maybe I take a shower, maybe I skip taking a shower. It's 2 o'clock. Okay, I got it. Well, if you would have just said, it's 2 o'clock, okay, thank you, I got it. What would have happened to the cycle of communication? It just was sent, received, understood, and acknowledged. You see the best interviewers, and they interview somebody, and the guy shares a moment of such intimacy. Yes, and then we lost all the money, and were thrown out of our house, but we built it again. And then the interviewer says, all right, and then how did you make the money again? At least acknowledge that moment. This is so important in communication. Acknowledging somebody's communication validates them as human beings. You want a frustrated child? Let the child come to you and say, I just broke my toy. And you don't acknowledge it to validate it by saying, if you just say, I'll buy you another one. Well, you need to acknowledge how, oh, it must feel terrible. You just broke that toy. It must be horrible. You just acknowledge that, validated how they felt. All of a sudden they feel better. There is acknowledgement there. There is reality. They feel affinity. God, I'm loved. They can see my point of view. It moves on with life. So acknowledgement in communication is very important. So somebody communicates with you, you listen, and then you acknowledge. You say something like, okay, I got it. How about, or okay, thank you for, acknowledgement in the communication cycle. So if somebody communicates with you, you have agreement with them, you have affinity, you have understanding. The question of, does a tree falling in the forest make noise, or is it not noisy and quiet when it's falling when nobody's listening? That answer has nothing to do with the reality of what's happening. It only has to do with whether Mark and I agree it's making noise or not making noise. And if we agree it's going to make noise when it falls, we have agreement, we can communicate. If we agree that it doesn't, then fine, we still have agreement and we can continue speaking. Very important. You want to see how important reality is? If I hold this cup and I tell you this is a cup, and one of you insists this is a table, Are we going to look at that person? Is he joking? It's a table. It's a table. We're going to say this person is out of his mind. He does not have our reality. How can we trust that person? So, enough on understanding.